I'm Hattie, a presenter on Hits Radio, and in my spare time, I love doing triathlons. So that means I swim a lot, I bike a lot, and I also run. And the goal this year is to do my first ultra trail marathon. That's yet to happen, but as part of my training, I'm going to be taking part in Great Manchester Run. And I wanted to meet one of the sports and exercise medicine consultants, Dr Jim Kerss, to make sure that I'm race ready and that I'm recovering right.
Pick up the pace. Two-stepping in the house one time, I can really feel the bass. Yeah, you can see that I'm feeling too good. Yeah, it's all on my face, and my hips, and my feet, 'cause they moving too quick. Yeah, that's it. Way too juiced up to sit. Now check this. I got that juice. Yeah, I got that juice.
Thank you for having me, Dr Jim Kerss. I want to make sure that I'm race ready for the Great Manchester Run. I've got lots of other events that I'm doing this year as well. But how do we make sure that we're fit and healthy, ready to go?
I think giving yourself enough time, enough preparation, sorting things out generally in your life to make sure you're in a good position to do a race. That's the important bits.
What does recovery look like on a really basic level? What kind of things can we be doing to make sure that our bodies are recovering?
I would look at a few different bits. So one is like the physical training load. So you drop that off for like a week or so. So it's not doing nothing whatsoever because you don't want to detrain yourself. But you would keep on like the frequency, reduce down perhaps the intensity or the volume of the sessions, both on like time or distance, right? So you're doing still something so your body has got some training stimulus. Just generally around, like you talked about, recovery from life in general. So I would look at like from a mental health point of view, stress, what's going on in typical life, in family, work, are you sleeping okay? And then looking at nutritional practices as well is important to making sure people have got, balanced diet, enough calories being taken in, making sure you're hydrating adequately. I think all those things are really important.
Specifically for the day before a race and race day itself, you hear about carb loading, and then on the race day, like what should you be doing to make sure that you have enough energy and that you're going to actually be able to perform to the best of your ability, whatever that looks like?
Yeah, that's like a common thing that people worry about, and I think too often people get into the situation of doing like a kind of panic tactic. For me, like the consistency is key. Don't do anything too untoward. Don't try any new supplements or meals or anything like this on the day before of the race or on the race day itself. In terms of nutrition, they will deal with the kind of carbohydrate loading thing, because there is some science behind that. So some people have kind of said, oh yeah, you should do some high intensity exercise and like deplete your body of glycogen or carbohydrate and then try and reload, but that's not necessary in the vast majority of people. All right. So basically just have a slow taper, gradual reduction down in training. And then the day before, basically eat a carbohydrate, protein-rich meal, on the evening of the race would be appropriate. In essence, basically what you're dealing with there is a decent serving of pasta, maybe a bit of chicken to give you some protein, tomato sauce, like basic stuff, right? Don't be going out and having alcohol and like a takeout spicy curry, this type of stuff that might then influence your stomach.
Loads of cheese on a pizza,
Exactly.
Avoid that.
It's kind of obvious things. Don't do anything kind of too untoward. Nothing unusual, consistency. Just the kind of basics, getting them right, and don't trial anything unusual in the day or the race day.
We all know that it's really important to drink water every day anyway, but why is it so important, and should you be drinking loads more? Like, what does the actual water, or are there any other kind of liquids that we should be consuming pre-race day and on race day itself?
I'll go through that because there's loads of myths around that,
Yeah.
and I've been guilty of this like 20 odd years ago when I did a marathon, and I remember someone at the airport when we were flying away said to me, make sure at every aid station you have a drink of the drink, which is Gatorade. And I knew absolutely no difference. And exactly your face would be like, don't do that. And I did that and then felt terrible the whole thing. So I learned from my mistakes, I would say.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, again, different kind of like opinions on this around the thirst side of things. But the easiest one is basically to drink to thirst. In terms of what to drink, okay, so basically if it's like water is absolutely fine, but you don't need to, if you're going to be running for like 40, 50 minutes, you don't need to be gulping loads of water down. There's actually health risks behind that as well as overhydrating. So just drinking to thirst during the event is absolutely fine.
So we've got the Great Manchester Run coming up. Some of your colleagues, some of the other consultants and members of staff are taking part. I'll be there on the start line as well. What advice would you give to your colleagues before they start the race? What would you say to them?
I'd say good luck to them all, you and everyone else doing it. It'd be the same things we've covered off, right? So making sure they've actually had some training preparation for the event, making sure they're looking after themselves generally in the run up to the event. So minimizing stress both at home, work, making sure they're sleeping okay. And yeah, like I say, getting any injury niggles that we talked about before, is just making sure that anything that's like there in the background, you've got that checked over if it's affecting like your daily function, your ability to do exercise or sport. Because the last thing you want to do is to carry a potential injury that you've not had assessed into the race, when often people exercise and try much harder just because of the level you're in a competition, or like a competition against yourself. And that's when very often we see injuries get worse, for example, just with the intensity of like a race situation. So yeah, that would be my general recommendations for colleagues.
And out of everyone that's taking part here at the OrthTeam Centre, who do you think is going to be the fastest? Which colleague is going to win?
I think most people's money is on John Rogers.
Okay, so I've got to try and beat John
Ex-elite
Rogers.
athlete, yeah. If you get there, then
I don't think that would happen
well.
in a million years, but we can try. Thank you very much.